What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Welcome to week 15 of the NFL season. The Miami Dolphins travel to Buffalo for a big game tonight. This game was flexed to prime time Saturday night. So exciting, big game. We got a 2-game lead on them, but they can get right back into the race if they were able to get a victory tonight. We got a lot to talk about, man. I am so excited about the show. We got a couple new segments. We're actually going to be bringing trivia back going forward here. So just stick around to the end for some trivia. We're going to put Mr. Jake Podger on the spot there for the trivia questions there, and for you folks out in the channel. Jake, let me introduce Jake Podger. You should know my man over here by now, Mr. Podger, just right outside of Buffalo. How are you doing today, sir? And give us a quick weather update. I mean, you were out today, you were traveling, going to the store, you went by the Bills Stadium. Talk to us about how things are looking right now.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Mike. There's nothing better than a game day in Buffalo, especially on a Saturday, because it's something to be said about having a game on a Saturday. You know, you get Sunday to recover. You don't have to go to work the next day for most folks. So I think it's even more pent up, and it's a night game. It was flexed. We're prime time NFL Network division game. A little bit of snow in the mix. We got about 1.5 feet last night. We're supposed to get another foot or so, before game time. Apparently, I don't know. You never know what the weather is going to be like in Buffalo. But I was out there earlier today, and it was great. I went out to Wegmans, got myself some cool snacks and whatnot, which I'm sure we'll be talking about in a little bit. But yeah, I am pumped up. So good afternoon to everyone but the Miami Dolphins. It's time. Today is where we right our wrongs and get revenge. It's going to be incredible, Mike. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I am fired up too. We actually have, Tom out there in the channel. Tom's going to be going to the game. Tom, we're expecting you to kind of give us some pictures, give us some updates on how things are going there at the stadium. And Tom, let me bring this up real quick because we have an amazing event happening right now. Let me bring that up. We are currently running an event to raise money for Baby Jack and his family. Baby Jack is diagnosed with cancer, and we have teamed up with the P.U.N.T organization there in Buffalo. This is a family local to Buffalo, and we've been raising money. I'm telling you, this channel, these subscribers, they've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. We've raised right now a slightly over $3,700 on our way to our goal of $5,000. And we believe we can get there. We're actually going to try to get there in our holiday show, which we'll talk about in a little bit, by the 23rd, which is this upcoming Friday. Lots of stuff, guys. I mean, Tom's been one of them. There's 2 Toms in our Discord channel, 2 Toms that are out here. Usually there they are right there. And they have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to raise money, as well as all of us. So we greatly appreciate everyone out in the channel that has supported this cause. It's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. If you haven't donated, and if you can, no amount is too small. $5, $10, whatever you could afford. If you can't, totally understand it. This is the holiday season, but maybe help us out by sharing the link. It's all in the description below. Share that link with family, friends, put it out on your social media platforms. Right now, I'm going to bring up a little slide here. By the way, if you were to take your camera, your phone, if you're on a desktop or a laptop and you scan that QR code, it will take you right to the donation site. Again, confirmed. Jake just did it. I had done it as well. So again, that little QR code was created for us by Tom out there in the channel right now. Appreciate you, Tom. You do a lot of work for us behind the scenes, and the other Toms out there as well. It's good to see you guys. Jason's out there. Is that Uncle Jay?
That's Uncle Jay. Welcome to it, Uncle Jay. Glad you caught us this time around. I know sometimes these earlier shows, they throw you off a little bit, so appreciate you joining. It's a big day today. I think the only thing that could get me down is when I walked outside, my mailbox got taken off. I don't know if that was Seth or who it was. Uncle Jay's son, Seth, he works for the town, and he comes down and plows. He usually comes down North Creek every once in a while, so I don't know if he hit my mailbox or what. So going to have a little talking to with whoever did that if I do find him, but I'm good with it. They're keeping our roads safe. Roads are clear as ever, Mike. I will say I was on Southwestern Boulevard. I was down McKinley. I mean, everything was really, they did a hell of a job. I mean, just to get out there and have everything nice and clear for the game, I think it'll be just fine for people traveling in today. So it'll be good.
That's good to know, Jake. Very good to know. I also want to announce, I kind of said it earlier, but we have a big, fun holiday special coming up on Friday the 23rd, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. This is going to be We're going to be raising money for Baby Jack. Help us get over that goal of ours to hit that 5K and maybe even exceed it. We feel we can. Again, we've had such great support with this. We're going to have an ugly sweater contest. Yes, we are going to be giving out a prize to whoever has the ugliest or most creative sweater submitted. And how you do that, the link is in the description. Basically, just email us. Email us a picture of you in your ugly sweater and just put in that email what your YouTube name is. That's all you need to do. Submit that. Again, it's NickelCityMafia@gmail.com. That is our email. Again, it's also in the description. So please participate in the ugly sweater contest. Jake and I are going to bring our best as far as ugly sweaters go.
I'm bringing it. I'm bringing it that
day. I know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Jake's going to bring something special. So I'm definitely going to have to make sure that I go into my closet of ugly sweaters and bring out something special. But Jake and I will be the judges. And so submit that to us. We will actually show those pictures on that live show on the 23rd. We've also had some amazing people. We reached out to some folks that were very talented in singing, and they wanted to kind of give back to this cause as well. So we have some pre-recorded and hopefully some live entertainment on that show this Friday as well. We're going to have a trivia contest. Again, somebody will win a prize. It'll be like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style. So we're going to bring you on, hopefully, ask you some questions. You can phone a friend and you can ask the channel. Phone a friend will be Mr. Podger over there. He's the best trivia guy we got in the business. So
he put the pressure on now.
You don't want to call anyone else. You just ask this guy right there. You'll be able to do that one time. And then you'll be able to ask the channel one time as well. So lots of fun. It's going to be about a 2-hour show. The last 30 minutes, we'll do our little pregame. But it's really all about holiday fun and raising money for Baby Jack and their family. So good stuff, right, Jake? This should be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, it's going to be a great show, Mike. I'm so excited. I know you said, block out like 2 hours or something. I'm ready to go for 4 hours. However long we need, I'm ready for it. I will let my wife know in advance. This is her warning right now. I know she doesn't watch the show, so I will tell her right after this again.
Awesome, yeah. He says, let's see what Timmy says out there. Jake's going to wear a regular sweater and win. No,
get the hell out of here, Timmy. I don't have any regular sweaters, first off. This is going to be elite level ugly sweater. You're going to love what you see. I promise you right now. It's in the mail. It should be coming tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow or the next day. So we'll see. It'll be a good one. I think you guys will like it.
Well, Timmy, you don't have to worry because Jake's not eligible for the win, right? He's going to represent.
There's some backstory to that.
Oh,
so
okay.
every year we do a different charity event. It's called Fall into Giving, and I'm the MC for the event. So we did it. This is our second year of doing it like an auction style. We have like 3 big prizes. So last year, not this year. This year I made sure that I didn't do it because people kind of got a little up in the air about it. So we did Bills game tickets for like the grand prize. So last year, I put my name in. I bought the tickets, I bought the tickets fair and square, put my name in. I, paid $10 per ticket. And I'm like, you know what? $1 and a dream, baby. Let's put them in. Probably not a great look when you're the MC and you have about 40 tickets in for the Bills tickets. So, I'm also the one picking names. So I go in, I pick my name out, and I'm like, holy shit, I just won.
That's a little
Bills
suspect.
Tickets. I know. So everyone's like, luckily, most of the people that attended are family, and they're like, you know what? It's going to a good, I'm glad he got it. He loves football. He's obsessed. Maybe they felt bad for me. I don't know. But anyways, it wasn't the greatest game to really go to. I mean, I'm so super pumped that I won the tickets, but it was that Colts game where we got absolutely demolished in the rain. However, my brother-in-law, Zach, got on TV in the end zone trying to call for a ball from Steph Diggs. He actually looked at me and said, I'm getting on TV, and I will stiff arm you to get a ball from Steph Diggs. So pretty funny time, great moment. But, yeah, so that's why Timmy is probably saying that. So I'm guessing that's the backstory.
I got you. If I was part of that, I'd be saying the same thing. So
yeah, of course.
I don't blame him one bit at all. So we got a new segment this week as well. And you might be asking, why have we not introduced this at the beginning of the season? And I don't know. I don't know why we did. Every Bills game deserves a good tailgate food of the week. And these tailgate food of the week ideas come from some of our subscribers. And you see Jake actually went ahead and actually made the recipe. He's going to test it here live on the channel. This was submitted by Mr. Tom S. out there in the channel. Greatly appreciate you again, Tom. By the way, the other Tom's on here as well. He's been doing a lot of help with the behind the scenes with the fundraising. But he also got some great news about his grandfather. So prayers to him and your grandfather.
Cheers to your grandfather, sir. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm happy to hear that. Seriously.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into the recipe here real quick, and then Jake, you can kind of talk to folks here. I'm going to leave these slides up in case you want to make this easy beer cheesy. And Jake's going to test it and sample it, and he's going to give us a score of 1 to 5 and just how good or bad it is. But Jake, right here on this first slide, I think you have some folks, maybe some slight adjustments that you want to give folks on this.
Yeah, so I don't claim to be a cook. I don't claim to know my ingredients, what pairs with what. So I just want you all to know I am not a professional by any means, but I do know what good food tastes like. And let me tell you right now, I maybe did lick the spoon because I had to. And it was out of this world. So I'm excited to try it with some actual, these pretzel bites here. So you may also be wondering why I'm drinking a PBR. So this recipe actually calls for a full 12-ounce can of PBR. And I actually had PBR in my fridge already. It's a great American beer, just incredible. I typically do drink Labatt Blue on our shows, still trying to get that sponsorship with Labatt. I know PBR is not technically a Buffalo beer or anything like that, but it's a hell of an American beer. So drinking it. Cheers to all of you guys watching out there. And so this recipe, it called for a 12-ounce can of PBR. Might be a little much, but I never say, beer, I never say a 12-ounce can is too much beer. I think that's not enough beer, if anything. So put the full 12-ounce can in there. It was a little soupy to begin with because I only did the half stick of Velveeta. I recommend like a brick and a half of Velveeta just to get the right consistency. You want a little thicker, cheese. I mean, basically, the thicker you want it, the more cheese you add. So I went all in with the Velveeta. So here's what it looks like. I don't know if you can really see it too well. I'm going to try to show it to the camera without spilling it. And I only do it one way, Mike. I only go big. So this is a monstrous bowl. It could probably feed a family of 10.
Go ahead, Jake. Show it on the camera again.
Here we go. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to see. I don't want to spill it. It's like
definitely. Wow, there. That's a lot, man.
Yeah. So this is going to be my food for today. And I bought these pretzel bites from Wegmans. And I'll tell you what, boys and girls, these are the best damn pretzel bites you'll ever have. So highly recommend. If you've ever been to Wegmans, go and grab some of these because they're awesome. And I'm sure they go great with this dip. I usually do the Wegmans queso with these. But here we go. Mike, can I give it a go? I mean,
give it a go, man.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to dip it in there, stir it around a little bit. The top, the top has a nice little wax to it now because it's kind of cooled down. Look at that. Oh, that's gorgeous.
That looks perfect, man. Not soupy at all.
I know.
Perfect.
Okay. So you're supposed to sprinkle a little bit of garlic powder on top. I think I did a little too much of that, but my gosh, that's unbelievable. Tom, thank you so much. I got to give it a score. I'm going to go 4.5 out of 10, or 4.5 out of 5, rather. Yeah. And it's only because I made it. It would have been a 5 out of 5 if someone else made it. If my wife made it, it would have been a 5 out of 5. But this is incredible. This is unreal. I will make this many more times in the future. I can assure you of that. It's incredible.
So Jake, who's coming over for the game today? And obviously you have this now, and also I think he said it will keep until the following game day. So that means it'll be good for a week. You can heat it up another week, and you got plenty. But who's going to be joining you today? Anybody?
We're actually going to a little family party tonight, so I will be probably bringing this with me. Okay. And I don't know how much of it I'm going to actually share because this is really, really good. I might just eat all of this before we even go. So.
I am drooling. I am drooling, Big Al. Of course, I drool all the time when we talk about the great foods in Buffalo there. I feel I can get those pretzel bites out at one of our stores. I think I've seen them. But, yeah, I need to make this dish as well. But whenever we start talking beef on weck and pizza and chicken wings, I'm drooling all the time. Good to see you out there, Big Al. And then I like what Tim said. He's like, I only go to the tailgate food. I only go for the tailgate food and go home for the game, which is something you could do. You really could do. Can you get into the tailgate section without having tickets, Jake?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Everyone welcomes you with open arms. There's not really. So if you're going to the tailgate section, you're parking at the stadium, and they're a little bit more, strict on the rules and whatnot. You typically have a ticket to, you need to have a ticket in order to tailgate and whatnot. But you know how the Bills do it. I mean, every house, lot, anything that can possibly be made into a tailgating area is used as that type of like just commencement of everyone just getting pumped up for the game. It doesn't matter if you're going or if you're not. Some of my best memories are just going to the tailgate, coming home after drinking, however many beers and eating a ton of food, nearly passing out watching the game because I'm just so damn tired, or, you're recovering from being so damn cold out there, or maybe you had a few too many. But it's definitely a Buffalo special for people to do that, no doubt.
That is cool because I know a couple stadiums. I've been to a few stadiums where you can't get to the tailgate unless you come in
Yeah,
with
I
your
hate
tickets,
that.
right? So that is super cool. And I'd be doing that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So good stuff there, Tim. And then he also says PBR became craft cheese during Prohibition, so perfect pairing for the beer cheese.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that, Timmy.
That
Good
is
fact. I
cool.
like that.
All right, let's move on here. So again, there are 2 slides, so you just got to watch. When you go back and you want to make this, you got to pause it at the first one to get all the ingredients. This kind of talks to you about how to, make it. So enjoy. I'm glad it turned out. Again, thank you, Tom, for that recipe. And for all you in the channel, please share with us your favorite recipe, and we'll actually get Jake to make it, or me, and we'll try it out on our pregame shows.
I did a pretty damn good job on this. I'll be
Dude,
honest
I
with
think
you.
it
It was a
looks
little
phenomenal.
suspect at first because it was so damn soupy, and I just
Yeah.
added more cheese and it was good to go. So
I mean, so Tom says adjust to the flavor of your likings: bacon, cilantro, parsley, tomatoes, additional cheese, jalapenos, or hot sauces. What were you saying? You think you put too much in or too little of?
a little too much garlic powder, but I do like garlic, so I'm not complaining too much. But I think anyone that is probably trying this and might not be like super big on garlic, maybe they won't love it. But hey, more for me, I guess. I'm gonna actually give it a 4.58 out of 5, Mike, just for Matt Milano. 4.58, Matt Milano, baby. He's
All
gonna have
right,
a
I
big
like
day
it.
today.
I like it. So let's talk about some Bills news. Cole Beasley is back, right? So Jake, talk to us about Cole Beasley being back. What does that mean? What was your thoughts when you heard the news?
Yeah.
And do you see him playing today? And yeah, talk to us about Cole coming back.
Over the moon. Over the moon. It is the number one thing we've been missing this year on offense is that safe blanket player. And I really do agree with what Jeremy White from WGR said. He came out and said it should have never even gotten to this point. It should have been something that was addressed much sooner in the year, whether it was Isaiah Hodgins or if we got more Khalil Shakir involvement, because clearly it just wasn't really working with Isaiah McKenzie. And I don't put all the blame on Isaiah McKenzie for that. I think he wasn't really schemed into the game as well. But there is a big difference between Isaiah McKenzie and Cole Beasley in terms of being able to find the opening, being able to work in space. He is such a pro at doing that. And it is really like that's what made him an all-pro 2 years ago. Just the fact that he's always open. He always finds a way to make these incredible catches. I mean, he sacrifices his body on every single play. He's not a big guy by any means. I mean, you look at him, he doesn't look like a football player, but he goes out there and he grinds every freaking play. I've seen some practice footage already on him. He looks fluid. He looks smooth with his routes, catching every pass thrown to him by Josh. I know Josh Allen fastball. That's probably tough to come back to after you've been sitting on the couch for a few months, but man, I am so excited to have him back. And listen, I understand that there's some polarizing things about him because people don't necessarily agree with his stance on the vaccination stuff and all that. I think he's put that behind him. He came out in his press conference and talked about that a little bit with how he addressed it with Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, and just said, basically, I didn't like how I ended with my time in Buffalo. I think he wants to kind of right the wrongs or whatever, kind of put away the hard feelings more or less, and he actually shared a couple of good stories, just talking about his kids and stuff and how the one mom didn't want his kid hanging out with her kid and going to his birthday party. So I think he felt like he needed to come back here and he wants to be here. I think that's the most important thing. And most of the players, I mean, all the players, every tweet, every reaction I've seen from the Bills locker room has been incredible. I mean, they welcomed him back with open arms. Josh went out on a limb and demanded basically that we get Cole Beasley back. He also said the same thing about John Brown, which is awesome. So I'm glad the band's back together. Obviously, we're seeing what Isaiah Hodgins is doing in New York, and it's a little unsettling because that's a guy that we all thought was going to turn into what he is sort of turning into for the Giants. But this is a great alternative. I know Odell Beckham, that was like the top, the biggest topic every week is like, hey, are we signing Odell? What's going on? And then obviously news came out saying he's probably not going to even play this year. If he does, it'll be in the playoffs. I'm so happy to have Cole Beasley back. I think for chemistry alone, it's going to be great. He's going to fit right back into this offense, no problem. I think he's going to have a big role today, Mike. I really do. I think, just based on the wind and, being able to open the field up a little bit, that was something I think we lacked in that original Dolphins game. It's just not having a guy that was going across the middle making those catches. So I think it's going to be a nice day for him. And to give you a stat line, I'll even go on a limb and say he's going to catch 8 balls today, 8 for 47 and a touchdown. I know the average is like so damn low, but that's the type of guy he is. He's going to make those tough short yardage catches, especially on third down. So I am pumped about this move.
I love it. You're already giving some bold predictions early, but I got to ask because Ryan's out there. He was signed to the practice squad. Has he been elevated? I think you have to be elevated. Like, don't you have to be elevated the day before the game? So I don't know if he's been elevated. If someone's in the channel who can kind of tell us that, that'd be fantastic. We won't know even if he's elevated, whether he's activated before the game, about an hour, maybe 90 minutes before the game. But yeah, that's interesting. I haven't seen that he was elevated from the practice squad, so we'll see. Maybe you can do a quick Google search there, Jake, while we're talking through things. Basically, he said he stayed up, he stayed in shape, playing a lot of basketball. Now, basketball does require you to be in good shape, so that's good that he was doing that. Like you said, to be a little rusty, catching 110-mile-an-hour fastballs from, and I don't know if Josh has ever been clocked. We got to get an official clock in him, but I always say 110 miles an hour. And
on Kyle Brandt's basement, he said he used to throw a baseball at 90 when he was pitching, so you can imagine.
All right,
probably high.
And then, of course, Beasley will be coming back to the snow in the cold, and the elements always make it that much more difficult to catch a fastball from Josh Allen. So first question against Ryan to answer, although Jake thinks he is, I think he will be as well, being in this game, but we haven't confirmed that yet, so we need to confirm whether he was brought off the practice squad. Jake's trying to get that information for you. Uncle Jay has a question for you. Did the Bills sign Beasley because McKenzie is underperforming, in your opinion there, Mr. Parker?
I would say yes and no, but I don't think it's necessarily a fair assessment. And listen, Isaiah McKenzie had a lot of tough drops last week, and that was honestly brutal to watch, and that was a guy that I was pretty high on. I think everyone was excited that we signed him back. He's been up and down this year. I mean, not every game has been a bad game for him. I think he's had some really nice games. Against Cleveland, he played extremely well. 93 yards that game? And even against Miami in that first game, he had like 76 yards and a touchdown that game as well. So I don't know. If he's underperforming, I would say probably yes in our expectations. Maybe from a coaching standpoint as well, because why else would you bring Cole Beasley in? And why else would Josh demand Cole Beasley to be brought in? I think, if anything, it'll actually help Isaiah McKenzie having Cole Beasley back on the team and, just kind of taking some pressure off. So my answer to that, I'm going to say yes, but I don't think he's a bad football player or anything like that. I don't think he is, worthy of being – I don't think it calls for him to be benched. I think you still have to find ways to use him because he's a great gadget guy. And I dare any nickel corner to try to run with this man. I mean, he's fast as hell. So find a way to still get him involved in the game. But do I think Cole Beasley is a better slot receiver, like actual slot receiver? Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think it comes down to consistency. Like you said, McKenzie, he's had those great games. I mean, all the way going back to last year when we played the Patriots in the second game, he lit them up. And he's had a few good, actually more good games this year than not so good games. And I think it's just been a consistency thing. Whereas Beasley, you always knew what you were going to get. You could rely on him. He was just super consistent. It is a little surprising to me that no one signed him. I know he tried with Tom Brady, and maybe he's just like, no, I played for the Bills. How can I play with this guy? I got to retire again. I don't know what happened there. It is surprising. So that would be my only concern. Why didn't other teams go to him? And maybe he just wasn't ready. Maybe he was waiting. He didn't want to have to deal with the long season. He's like, man, these Bills have a shot. Let me get in on this.
I think he knew he wanted to be back in Buffalo the whole time. It was just a matter of seeing, what other teams were interested. And he even said his time in Tampa, he knew it right away. It just wasn't the same. It wasn't the same culture, wasn't the same fit. So, I think he did have other opportunities to sign with different teams. He just didn't feel like it was right for him. And if the right team came calling, aka the Buffalo Bills, he would definitely take that offer, which he did. So it's great to see.
Yeah, so Tom has a question. I feel like this might be an early warning sign for next season. What's the answer for his replacement? Are you so? It sounds like you're saying it sounds like they might move on from McKenzie. We got him signed for 2 years. I think it was a 2 year deal.
Yeah, 2 years,
Was it?
6 million, I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. There's still, again. I think I fully support what Jake said. I don't think he's been playing terrible, and I think he can go back to what we used him for. With some of those gadget plays now that Cole's back. So I'm not sure. Do you think this is a warning sign? Do you think it's like, well, and we know who would be that replacement, right? It'll be Shakir. I hope it would be Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't
Yeah.
think I don't see Beasley. I don't know. Maybe he does come back next year. I don't know. But if he doesn't, he just wants to make this last run with the Bills. I think we're still in good shape. Getting Khalil more action. And of course, with McKenzie still there. And then Crowder. Of course, Crowder. Did we sign Crowder for just a 1 year deal?
It was a 1 year deal, but that
Okay.
right there, yeah, I'm happy you brought that up because everyone seems to have forgotten that we signed this guy who was supposed to be the faster Cole Beasley, basically the same type of role, and I think one of the more elite slot receivers in the league. But it's just unfortunate, broken ankle. That's tough. That's really tough. So,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to be able to get him back if Cole does indeed retire and sail off into the sunset. I think having a veteran like that to be able to teach Khalil Shakir, who I think absolutely has a future in this league and needs to see more time on the field, I think it only helps him to have guys like that ahead of him, being able to teach him how to work in space and all those good things, especially for Josh. I mean, that's going to be huge for his development, being able to find that opening and kind of operate as that Cole Beasley type of player.
Yeah. Have you were you able to find any information whether he was?
I was
elevated?
looking. No, I didn't see anything. I'm going to scour Twitter for a
All right.
second here and just see if I see anything about it. But yeah, I didn't. It all kind of points to him playing, like a lot of the articles I've been seeing. But yeah, it doesn't actually say.
All right. Well, let's move on here. I always forget to say this. If you're new to our channel, please like, comment, and drop a nickel on that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. The channel's been growing, and we love all the subscribers that we have. I mean, they interact with us on our Discord channel. By the way, if you haven't joined our Discord channel, the link is in the description below. We talk about Bills all week. We talk about tailgate recipes. We talk about the Buffalo Sabres. We got a lot going on all about Buffalo. So join the Discord, and it's like I said, it's free. There's no cost to you. And if you like to talk Bills like we do all week long, that's a perfect way to do it.
For sure. Yeah, it's great. Actually, there's been a lot of chatter going on. That's where we got this tailgate recipe. Tom was, he was happy enough to share it with us. We have an actual so it's broken down in the group. So we have a Buffalo Bills page, we have a Buffalo Sabres page, a tailgating recipes page. So, and it's only expanding from there. We have a fantasy page, NFL betting. So we have a little bit of everything there. So it's not just all Buffalo Bills. It's, the entire NFL and some other miscellaneous things as well. So it's a great thing. Get on that, guys. Discord. It's a fun time.
We even have our fundraiser thread, which is how we come up with our ideas, how we're going to push things out. I do believe Tom, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, Tom's going to the game. He's going to be at that game, section 125, I believe. I forget what it is. It's got some nice seats. But Tom's the type of guy, he's bringing flyers. He's actually going to be talking to people, and those flyers have that QR code. He's going to be trying to get donations, and he brought some gifts for people. If they happen to donate, he's going to be handing them some gifts. So, Tom, again,
he's unbelievable.
Amazing stuff, man. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Mr. Micah Hyde for a little bit. So, about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, our good friend, Mr. Sean Kula from the Red, White, and Bills, read some articles, some news that it might be possible for Micah Hyde to come back. Maybe if the Bills go on a deep run into the playoffs, January, February, potentially he could be back. So we didn't hear much more after that, and he actually said it on the show. We talked about it. And then today, and I support a lot of the Buffalo channels on YouTube. One of my favorites is the Buffalo Plus channel. They're actually, I don't know if they're called beat writers or what, but they cover the Bills. They're there at the Bills practice. They're there in the press conferences. They're there at the games. They're able to ask questions. And somehow this week it came up. I think they were talking to Micah. I think Bean talked about it a little bit. And Micah was like, yeah, if I'm ready to go, I want to be back. And I think Bean adjusted a little bit. So they kind of put it out there, and they didn't squash it, right? They didn't squash that idea that he could be back. I want to take this moment and squash this idea. And I'm going to tell you why. So Micah had a type of surgery. It's called, what they do is they remove the herniated disc and they fuse the disc above the bad where they removed it and the disc below. And they fuse those two together. And that takes a minimum of 6 months to recover from. 6 months. And I think he had his surgery back in October, I believe.
That's right.
Right? In October. That is not even close to 6 months. Even if we made it to February, what is that? November, December, January, February. We're 4 months. What doctor in his mind is going to clear this? So I want to squash this. I know when we hear this, we get excited. I want to give you some other information. Now, you guys all remember Jack Eichel. You know, Jack Eichel was a Buffalo Sabre. And there's a reason why Jack Eichel is no longer a Buffalo Sabre. One of the big reasons is because Jack Eichel wanted a different type of surgery. He didn't want this fusion that takes 6 months to even up to a year to recover from. He wanted to go with this artificial disc replacement. That is something new. And the NHL would not allow it. At least the team had to agree to it. And there's a lot of reasons why that is in the NHL. But right now, the golden standard is this fusion surgery. But if you can remember back to the days of Tommy John surgery, Tommy John was like, whoa, what is this? I mean, it was kind of like breaking ground. And now it's the standard. It's the standard. And now, so Jack Eichel got traded, and the team he's on now approved the surgery. He can get that artificial disc replacement. Jack Eichel was back on the ice skating 1 month after the surgery. He was back with his team playing in the NHL 3 months after the surgery. And then shortly after Eichel had the surgery, Chicago Blackhawks center Tyler Johnson had the same procedure, and he was back on the ice with his team playing 3 months after. So if you were to tell me Micah Hyde had that surgery, I'd say there's a chance that he would be able to play in January or February. He did not have that surgery. And hopefully more and more players start going that surgery. Now, I'm not a doctor. We don't know what the long-term effects are of artificial disc replacement. Do you have to go in for a tune-up every X amount of years and have that disc replaced? Because I didn't research what they're made of, but you guys can check it out. You just search Jack Eichel surgery. He was the first one to push for it in the NHL. He got it, and now another NHL player. So we'll learn more from those two, and that's a very physical game. Mm-hmm. Do I think it's as physical as football? Not quite, but man, these guys are 230-pound guys, 220-pound guys skating 30 miles an hour on the ice, getting checked into the boards. So what Micah Hyde had is the fusion surgery, 6 months at a minimum. There's no way in heck he's coming back. If I'm wrong, I'll take that L. Great, fantastic.
Happily, we'll take that loss.
Please don't buy into us. I don't know why this is being fed out there. It's a good discussion point. Obviously, we would all love to see Micah come back, but not buying it. I don't know if you agree or disagree, Jake.
100% agree. No chance. I don't think any doctor in their right mind would let it happen either. I don't think the Bills would let that happen. I mean, we are one of the most precautious teams when it comes to injuries. So no chance in hell is Sean McDermott going to let that fly. I don't care how much Micah says he's ready to go. I just can't see that happening, and I would love to have him back. I wore his jersey last week in hopes of, hey, maybe this will give some good luck. I don't know if you saw in the post game. That's what I was wearing. I was hoping maybe it would shelter some good news, but obviously I think we could put the kibosh on that one for sure.
Yeah,
but it is eerie, Mike, because you go back to right before that Dolphins game. I think it was Friday or Saturday as I was traveling into Hollywood Beach, just outside of Miami, because I went to that game down there. And I got the breaking news saying that Micah Hyde was going to miss the season, and he had a more severe neck injury than we thought. And it wasn't just the neck. Obviously, it went right down his spine. So it's obviously a scary situation. But he's doing his best on the sideline there. I know he's coaching these guys up, and I think he's done a really nice job with DeMar Hamlin and obviously being there to support the other guys. So just glad to have him part of the organization. I obviously want him on the field, but if this is the best we could do, I will take it.
Awesome. I agree. So let me, I see somebody out there gave us a like on the Facebook side of things. We do go live to both Facebook and YouTube, so we greatly appreciate you out there. If you're on the Facebook watching the show, chime in on the channel. Tell us who you are, where you're from. If you're new to our channel, we always love to hear, just tell us your name and where you're from. We love to meet new people all the time.
There's my father-in-law.
Right here?
Yeah, Prison Mike, he's coming in hot. Also, I just want to shed light on that beautiful profile picture. Again, he decided to make it his ass cheeks, which is just incredible. So thank you, Pops. Great question. I guess I don't know if it's necessarily a question. I think he's stating it. I will state it. I think he's gonna have 2 rushing touchdowns. I like that bold prediction. I'm all for it. Let's have it. Let's have that be one of our bold predictions today, Mike. I like it.
I like it. I like it as well. Good to see you out there, Prism Mike. I think we've seen you out there one other time, so
Oh
it's
yeah,
good, nice to
he
see
had
you
me
out there
dying the
joining
first
us.
time. Yeah, the first time he commented on the show. I was laughing so hard I didn't even address his question because he asked about Matt Milano, and man, I saw the profile picture and the backstory behind that. He also had cancer, Mike, and he was in the hospital actually due to some other issues. He was like bleeding internally and everything. Crazy story. He survived. He's an absolute warrior, one of the greatest guys I know. But he still has his jokes. He's in the hospital. Yep. He's dealing with this crazy issue, and he's just got his gown on and everything. And he gets up, finally walks for the first time, and he opens it up just to reveal his bare ass cheeks, and it's like a light shines on it, which is hilarious.
So I had a similar situation. So when I'd go into the hospital for my chemo, I'd go in for a full week. Every 3 weeks, I had to go in for a week, and I wore this gown, and they let me wear underwear at least, and I'd have to walk around. So I'd have to get up and walk, with my chemo next to me, and on the wheels, and I'd walk around. And for the longest time, I just walked around in the gown. I didn't care who saw me. Of course,
at that point, who cares?
My ass wasn't bare. I at least had underwear. But then I started to see, and I thought that was a requirement. I didn't think I could wear any pants or any sweatpants. So I'm doing this now probably and I did this from October to April. Again, every 3 weeks I'd go in, and I had a great staff there, and they were like family to me. And so I start seeing other people walking around, and they're wearing sweatpants. I'm like, is it okay to wear sweatpants? And they're like, yeah, you can wear. I'm like, you're telling me that you made me walk around and with just underwear on and my gown when I could be wearing sweatpants. So it's kind of funny when I found out. I'm like, oh my gosh, here I am walking around, and there's family for other patients, and
must have liked what they saw. I don't know.
Maybe the nurses did. I don't know. I'll take that as a compliment. But
that's right.
Soon after, I put some dang sweatpants on and then started walking around.
I love it. That's hilarious.
Good stuff. All right, let's get into the injury report. Really, Brian Bates, which is a big one for us. He is out, did not practice all week with an ankle injury. We kind of knew in our post-game show, we had heard that he had went out in that game. Didn't know how serious it was. Now it is very serious. He is out. I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, I believe we'll see Van Roten at that spot, but I don't know. Who you think is going to fill that role?
No, I think you're right on with that. I'm looking to see if there's any new updates about Ike Butker, because we had not technically activated him, but more or less, he started practicing and, doing team activities and whatnot. And I know he's coming back from a major league injury with a torn Achilles. So that is obviously, you got to take that with a little bit more precaution than even an ACL. All your power, it's coming from your feet pretty much, So, I'm curious to see what happens with that. I'm seeing some tweets out here. I just wanted to see if there's any news on it, but a lot of people saying feels like a good day to watch Ike Butker make a comeback. So that would be pretty interesting to see if he showed up today as well.
Well, the interesting thing, Jake, did they take him off IR?
So, that's the thing. So they had a 21-day window. Yeah. And I think that window is going to be officially up as of maybe this upcoming week. And if they don't activate him or put him on the active roster, then he goes back to IR. So, yeah,
okay, so they did officially take him off IR a couple weeks, 3 weeks ago, right? Roughly around
that's
there.
Correct.
Okay,
yep.
All right, good stuff. Big L, those gowns are horrible for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and then also Jordan Phillips out for a second week in a row. He was out last week as well, I believe, and he's out again with a shoulder injury. We're going to miss him, but that interior line, the depth that we have has been stepping up, and I have no concerns without him in that game. We miss him, of course. We'd love to have him, but the other guys just been doing an amazing job there. Let's go to the Dolphins side of the ball. They had Terran Armstead, which would be a huge piece missing if he is out, he was limited. He didn't practice Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, he's got a toe, a pec, and a knee injury. He was limited on Thursday. He's questionable. It'd be surprising if they are missing him. That's a huge.
So they signed, and that's one thing too. They signed some insurance. They signed Eric Fisher, who was a former first overall pick for the Chiefs back in the day. So he would be the backup for Terron Armstead if Terron Armstead were not to play.
All right. So that'd be a big miss from them, though. We could actually take advantage on that side because he's very good. He's their best. He's the best tackle they got.
I mean, he's a Pro Bowl tackle for a reason. He is legit as they come. So for sure, that would be huge.
We got Elijah Campbell, a DB for them, concussion. He is out. Let's see. We got River Craycraft. I love that name, Craycraft. He's a receiver for them. He is doubtful, and it's rare.
That's huge. That's huge. He caught the first touchdown against us the last time we played against each other. So I mean, I'll tell you what, he was getting open. He was finding ways to find openings in that space. So that is a big. I mean, a lot of people think, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, those are the two big guys. Even Mike Gesicki, Trent Sherfield, but River Craycraft, man, he's come a long way. He's got a great journey. I love that kid to death, and he's definitely. I don't think he's going to play today. So definitely a notable injury in my book.
Yeah, Big L saying they said Armstead was going to play. What's your source on that, Big L? Just let us know on that. Big L always giving us some breaking information ahead of time, so appreciate you, Big L. Let's see, who else here? We got Eric Rowe, safety. He's a starter for them. Another big loss. He is out, so that's huge. Jeff Wilson, who they traded for from the Niners, he is questionable. He's been didn't practice all week until Thursday. It was limited with a hip injury. That's kind of big. He actually was a good trade for them. He came over. He's been doing pretty well. Can catch the ball, run the ball. And, of course, Teddy Bridgewater, who is their – is Teddy their backup? I think he's their official backup, right?
Yeah, he is.
So I wonder who – if he is out, I wonder who would be backing up to it today.
It would be Skylar Thompson, who he played against the Jets earlier in the season.
Okay.
But he's very unexperienced, and he's an undrafted rookie. I believe he was undrafted. Or he's a 7th-round pick. I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
Kansas State kid. Yeah.
Well, let's get into the no surprise, the weather report. We got snow. Kickoff, it's going to be roughly around 30 degrees. And it's funny. I had to go. We talk about this all the time, how Buffalo weather can change. I went in 3 days in a row, and it was just changing constantly. And it's funny. And I bet if I go back and look in the next few hours, that'll change again. But at kickoff, it's supposed to be around 30 degrees. Wind's going to be out of the west-southwest at about 11 miles per hour. So this is your type of game, Jake. This is your game, buddy. You've been talking about it, and it reminded me of a game.
Let's go. I really want you to detail this. Because everyone thinks snow game, it's going to be low scoring. Well, guess what? Look at this game. And this is, back when the passing offenses weren't necessarily as extreme, although Dan Marino really altered the game with his passing ability. I mean, he's one of the purest passers in NFL history. But Mike, go ahead. Detail this game a little bit for us.
This is before you were born, Jake. I believe you're a 93 guy.
That's correct.
Before you're born. This is when this Bills team loved to play in the snow. I hear all this. I watch these shows today, and they're talking about the players who just come out and say, yeah, I hate the snow. I really hate it. I don't want to be out there. This is when the Bills thrived in the snow. They could play in any weather. They dropped 44 points on these Dolphins, who put up 34 points, by the way. If you haven't seen any highlights of this game, I highly recommend it. So Marino and crew came to town to Rich Stadium. Yes, Rich Stadium. And 1991, it was the 1990 season. And this is the divisional round to see who would go on to the AFC Championship. The Bills got off to a nice 20-3 lead, but Marino worked his way back in, and by early fourth quarter, it was a 3-point game, 30-27. As soon as the Dolphins made it a 3-point game, the Bills came right back and scored. They actually scored 2 additional touchdowns to get to 44, and it was comfortable, and it was pretty much over after that second touchdown. But up until then, this game was back and forth. These guys were putting up numbers. Let me give you some numbers. We don't see this today in these weather games. I hope we do. I hope we do again. Dan Marino threw 49 times. He completed 23 passes, threw for 323 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions. Jim Kelly, 19 of 29, Jake. 19 of 29, 339 yards. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Listen to these receivers, man. James Lofton, 7 catches for 149 yards. He had 1 touchdown, with his longest being a 44-yarder. Andre Reed, my man Andre, 4 catches, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, these are big numbers. And then look at this running game. Mr. Thurman Thomas ran the ball 32 times. Man, he was grinding it out. I'm thinking to myself, how did they have this many plays with in this type of game? But he ran the ball 32 times for 117 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns on the ground. He also had 3 receptions for 38 yards. Now on the Dolphins side, they're right up there as well. They had Sammy Smith, running back. He ran the ball 21 times for 99 yards, and he had 1 reception for 9. Of course, they had the Mark brothers, right? Mm-hmm. They had Mark Duper, Mark Clayton. Mark Duper had 3 catches for 113 yards. Had a big one. And that went for a touchdown. It was a 64-yarder. And then Mark Clayton had 4 for 82 yards. They had Tony Martin, 4 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. This was a game. I'm telling you, you got to go watch the highlights on this game. It's just an incredible game. And by the way, in the snow, Dan Marino, not known for running, bootlegs from the 2-yard line. Bootlegs, almost falls. He's actually he's running on it's covered in snow. You think he's going to slip. Nobody expects Dan Marino to run the ball. He bootlegs for an easy touchdown run. Fantastic game. So this reminds me of this weather, right? But are we going to see these type of numbers? I don't know. We haven't seen these type of numbers in the weather this year.
I want to say something too. It is really interesting talking about this game, and then there was another game too that the Dolphins played in the snow in Dallas on Thanksgiving, the fake spike. There was that game. And then there was a game not too long ago against the Bills where Reggie Bush ran all over us in the snow too. So a lot of people talking about how the Dolphins are at a disadvantage in these snow games, but I feel like they always seem to show up for these bad weather games for whatever reason it is, but kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know. With Tua, the way he's been struggling, good luck throwing the ball in this weather.
It snows in Alabama, though. It snows in Alabama, so.
Well, seriously, he's been struggling throwing the ball the last 2 weeks with good weather. So the Bills got this huge win, and obviously they hosted the Los Angeles Raiders in Buffalo the next week and whooped them. Put up 51 points on that team in the AFC Championship,
Jake.
Yeah,
51
good times. 50. I think it was 51-3.
Yeah,
they destroyed them. And again, in cold weather, this was a team that thrived in the cold weather. I don't know if it's because of the bigger shoulder pads. You see Kelly there wearing the sleeves, but you didn't hear them saying, "I hate the snow."
That's right. That's right. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to that. I miss that. I don't want to keep hearing this talk about, the game should just be in a dome. Well, look at this is 31 years ago with a much less complex passing game, where nowadays you can easily throw for 300 yards. I don't know if that's been the case so much so this year, but just judging on past years, I mean, you got to figure it out, man. I think today is a day where we prove a lot of these, things that we've been talking about. We kind of put them to bed.
Yeah, Uncle Jay's saying those games are fun. They sure were. You would have to think, right? The offense should have the advantage. The receiver knows where he's going to be running his route. The quarterback knows. And it's going to be slippery out there. It absolutely is going to be slippery. Oh, yeah. So we should be able to see some folks take advantage. Now, that works for them as well. They got 2 of the fastest receivers in the league. Tyreek Hill, absolutely the fastest in the league. He's a game changer. And then they got Waddle, right? So, and they've been struggling the last couple of weeks. So I have fully expect them to get back to kind of getting that ball to them short and letting them do their thing in this slippery snow game. And it's going to be interesting. But, Jake, I just want to throw that out there for you, man. You got to go watch that. 44-34 in the weather. If the Bills could put up these numbers today, we wouldn't be having that discussion about changing the stadium and putting a dome. So let's see it happen.
Right. I think people would actually encourage going to these games.
Yeah,
and I think,
absolutely.
And that's not to say that there's a lot of people that aren't, about going. I think people love it regardless. People are going to go to the Bills games. I mean, this is going to be a sellout. It's going to be a sellout every Sunday, Saturday, any day we play. So I don't think, I think it's just a preference thing, So yep. I don't think there's any danger of people missing a game because there's a little bit of snow. I mean, these fans are the most diehard fan base in pro sports, in my opinion. So
I
Yeah.
do feel like back in this era here that the snow was a big advantage for the Bills. Big advantage. I really do. Nowadays, I'm not so sure if it's a big advantage. Yes, they practice in it a little bit. We know they don't like it, but I don't feel it's as big as an advantage as it used to be. And I could be wrong. I don't know what you think there. I don't know what the channel thinks. You let me know. Some of the guys, Big Al, Uncle Jay, they were around in these times. They've seen these games, so maybe they can share their thoughts.
I wonder why that is too. Like, was it a matter of players being up in Buffalo training here more? Was it just the way the team was built? Was it coaching? What was it? I'm really curious.
I don't know. Daryl Talley had the secret. He had those Spider-Man suit on that he had covered his arms.
Yeah.
Somehow they had the secret. They were able to play very, very well.
It also helps
in
when
the
you
summer
have
games.
Andre Reed, who's arguably one of the greatest yards after catch receivers in NFL history. So I think that certainly played a role in that offense being as good as they were.
Yeah, and James Lofton, dude.
Yeah,
James
Hall of
Lofton.
Famer. Yeah, both
Yeah.
Hall of Famers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Great times. All right, so let's get into a little bit of numbers here. The Bills average 27.2 points per game. They are ranked fourth. The Dolphins come in at 24.3 points per game. They are ranked eighth. Both these offenses are near the top in many, many categories here. Passing yards per game. Well, first of all, let me go over total yards per game. The Dolphins come in at 367.8 total yards per game, and the Bills come in at 397.1. The Bills are ranked second in that category. The Dolphins ranked seventh. I don't go through all the stats anymore. I don't want to bore people. They're right there on the screen. Take a look. But I will make a mention here of the rushing yards per game. The Dolphins only average 89.9 rushing yards per game, which is ranked 29th, almost dead last in the league. Whereas the Bills average 133.7, which we know is elevated because of Josh Allen's stats. But they are ranked eighth in the rushing game. And I do like what somebody said earlier. Was that Uncle Jay who said Josh runs for 2 touchdowns? I think that's a real possibility today. Both teams have given up 28 sacks on offense. Now, I want to say this. When you look at the Bills, I've been saying this all year, that 28 sacks is a lot worse than the 28 sacks than the Dolphins. And that's because we have a man named Josh Allen. Josh Allen makes this offense. Our offense has struggled, let's face it. But Josh Allen can make any offense of line look that much better because he can extend plays. He can get out of the pocket. He can go and get yards with his feet. Tua's not really doing that. So to have 28 sacks, I bet if it was Tua behind this line, that number would be like 38.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
No doubt in my mind.
Absolutely. Yep.
What do we got Uncle Jay saying? Tally to get fined. Oh, Tally used to get fined. I didn't know. Oh, that makes sense that he would. All right.
It wasn't NFL approved. It wasn't technically NFL equipment. He should have really, back in the day, these brand and the branding and like deals and stuff, they weren't as big. But man, if he played in today's game and he had those Spider-Man sleeves, you better believe the NFL would probably, I don't know if they'd be for it or not, but there would be some way that he'd be making some money off of marketing to definitely pay for those fines.
Yep. I agree. And then, or you get it branded and everyone would be wearing these things. If they brought that back, if one of the Bills players started wearing that again in honor of him, oh man.
Could you imagine?
It would go viral.
Yeah.
I think it would go viral. All right, let's get into the defense a little bit here. On the defensive side of the ball, the Dolphins give up 24 points on average per game. The Bills give up 17. Bills are ranked second. They are stubborn when it comes to giving up points. They've done an extremely good job in the red zone on defense. And the Dolphins are ranked 23rd. As far as giving up passing yards per game, the Dolphins give up 242, which is ranked 23rd. So again, not that good. Whereas the Bills give up 219, they're ranked 19th in the defense category for passing yards per game. The Bills we've gotten 35 sacks in the season, and that number I think will continue to go up big time. I think Rousseau has stepped in nicely. As long as these guys stay healthy, I think we'll be able to. Is never going to be able to replace Von Miller. Von Miller had 8 sacks before he got injured. He was on pace to do well over double digits, somewhere around 12, 13 But this team is stepping up, and I think we'll see that number continue to rise. 33 sacks on the Dolphins side. They are, no gimme here. They bring the heat. They did a fantastic job getting pressure on Josh in that first game. They brought a lot of heat, right? And we could talk about that. Talk about real quick what they did in that first game.
They brought the heat all right.
Now they were able to get 4. Yeah, they brought the heat. Brought the heat today on the benches to keep warm. But in that game, and you're right, and it was hot and humid, but they were trying to. I think they rushed 4 for most of the time, but they were also, making some key blitzes at certain times. It just felt like they were getting pressure on Josh Allen a lot of that game.
Yeah, they basically ran that cover 2 shell look that every defense I feel like has just adapted and adopted and played all year long, which is why I think the passing numbers haven't been quite as good because, when you're able to get there with 4, first off, that's huge because that allows more guys to sit back in coverage and, receivers naturally aren't going to get open when there's more guys covering. I mean, it's very simple. It's mathematics at the end of the day there. But, I think the Dolphins, they just played bend, don't break football. I mean, Josh Allen threw for 400 yards, but we only put up 19 points on the day. So that says everything right there. Obviously, there was the missed throw at the end, and there were so many opportunities to win that game. But I think that was their game. And I almost feel like we got to play that type of game today, especially with the snow, especially with guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who can make guys miss and get out there. And when they're in open field, I mean, guys are going to be slipping all over the place. Tackling and keeping everything in front of us today are one of my, I guess, 2 biggest keys to the game all day long because it's just, naturally, I guess it flows right into my key matchup.
Yep.
I would say, I want to say it's the Dolphins receivers versus our corners, but I think I'm going to go a different route here, and I'm going to say it's our defensive line versus their offensive line. They're a little banged up front. They're missing a couple guys. Terron Armstead's going to play, but he's banged up a little bit. And I think with how good our interior has been playing, especially Daquan Jones, I will tell you what right now, I think getting pressure on Tua is only going to help our corners more. And we have Trey White for this game. So, it'll be interesting. Timmy brings up a really good point. Who's going to be cornerback number 2 today? Is it going to be Kaiir Elam? Are they going to give him a shot again? Because Dane Jackson, I don't think, played his best game of football last week. I don't think Dane's a bad corner, but I think he definitely is better as that more rotational guy coming in and out of the lineup. So I'm really curious to see who that guy is if they give Kaiir Elam another shot because he played a really good game of football the last time we played against Miami. So, but going back to my point, my key matchup, I think it's definitely got to be our D-line against their offensive line to help our corners out because we know how dangerous they can be, especially when the weather's like this and especially with how fast they are. They get in open space, you could basically just kiss your kiss whatever goodbye because they're going to score a touchdown. So, I wanted to go a different direction with that. But anyways.
You were all right. I mean, we're allowed to say those type of words. Just don't say it on our holiday specials.
That's right. Yeah, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, of course not. And then as far as offense goes, I think you look at the matchup between Stephon Diggs and some of these corners that they have out there. They have a very good secondary in Javon Holland. They got Xavier Howard. They got a couple other guys out there. Eric Rowe he's going to be out, they're saying, right? Officially?
Yes, he is out.
Which is huge. He's been really good. He's been playing free safety this year. He's also played a lot of corner in his career. But we got Kadir Kohu playing nickel. And this is where Cole Beasley is going to have himself a day. I mean, this is an undrafted free agent, I believe. I think he's an undrafted free agent out of Texas A&M. Yeah, he is. So right there alone, I mean, that's a glaring mismatch. And this is where I think Josh is going to be able to go to Cole Beasley. He's going to be able to go to Khalil Shakir. He's going to be able to go to Isaiah McKenzie. And especially with Isaiah McKenzie's speed, I think today he can have himself a really nice day, especially with Cole being there because Cole is going to demand so much respect. And this is obviously assuming that Cole's going to play tonight. But I love the nickel corner matchup against our slot receivers today, just because we got an undrafted rookie out there. I think he's played pretty well for the most part, but man, I mean, you got to be looking at him every play. And I think they know it's coming their way, but my gosh, that is a glaring mismatch to take advantage of. But then, I mean, even looking on the outside, we know Steph's going to eat up regardless of who's covering him. I wonder if they do what the Jets kind of did and kind of bracket him, try to take him out of the game that way. I mean, you got Justin Bethel and Xavier Howard out there. You have Keon Crossan and then Noah Igbenogany, which is one of the greatest last names in football, by the way. Those are all very athletic corners, but I like Steph better, man. He's so damn physical, and today I think he's going to really exert his dominance. So excited to see what happens on the outside too. And I didn't say much about Gabe Davis, but man, whoever's covering him today, I think they're going to have their hands full. He seems to play really well at home, so I think he's due for a nice day as well.
Yeah, and if Beasley does play, maybe that helps him as well. I wanted to answer Timmy's question. So who do we think cornerback 2 is going to be today? I think starting is going to be Dane Jackson. Why? That's just what they keep doing. We've discussed this. We actually had a video about what's going on with Kyer, and I hope they get him in. I hope they get him action. He deserves action. Will he start? I don't think he'll start. But so that's just my call. I think Dane Jackson will continue to be out there. They're stubborn. The Bills are stubborn. They make a decision. They don't want to be proved wrong. It seems.
What about Xavier Rhodes too? I mean, what do you think they do with him? Do you think he plays more than Kyer? Does he start? That's.
Well, we thought that last week, and then he was inactive. So it's just crazy. I really don't know what's going on with that situation. And then Timmy says, "Is Dane just getting targeted more because of Trey being back?" I don't think so. I don't think so because prior to Trey getting back, he was getting eaten alive a lot. So yes, of course, with Trey being back, I do agree with you that, we saw this last year, right? When Trey was playing, Levi Wallace was getting targeted, and that just happened. So I think that's part of it, Timmy. But I think even before then, they were starting to realize that they could take advantage of Dane a little bit. So I don't know, Jake, do you agree, disagree? Go ahead.
My mouth is full. I'm sorry.
I caught him while I was eating one of those yummy pretzel bites.
I apologize too. I tried to go on mute when I was eating, but I'm telling you right now, I can't just let this look me in the face. It's just so damn good. Tom, again, thank you for the tailgate recipe. If you guys missed it earlier in the show, doing a little cheesy beer dip right here. It was sent in to us from the world famous Tom S, aka Gail Gaboy, in our Discord chat.
Yeah.
My goodness, it's unbelievable. Just a little hint of garlic because it is a little overpowering. But man, this is incredible. I got to be honest with you. Yeah. I do agree with what Timmy is saying that he's targeted more because obviously Trey being back. I think that's definitely an obvious thing to look at. I think he's an interesting. It's a really interesting story. This is a guy that was sort of forced to start. It was a guy that was forced to basically grow into his role, and Leslie Frazier speaks really highly of him. We've seen a lot of good plays out of him, but it feels like for whatever reason this year, there's been some huge moments where he's not looking back at the ball and he gets flagged for PI, or he just gets eaten alive, or even in the run game where he's missing some tackles. So, this might be a get right game for him, but I am really curious to see, whether or not they do play Kyer Elam a little bit more, at least make him active, because for him to be a healthy scratch, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, 2 weeks ago. So hopefully there's not a little more to that story where there's not something off the field going on or whatever it may be. But obviously we're not going to speculate on it, but we'll see. We'll see. That doesn't really answer the question, but the Bills, I feel like they're just not, they're very, as consistent as they are with not telling us information, they are extremely unpredictable at times, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it always seems to happen like an hour before kickoff or like first play of the game where it's like, what? This makes zero sense. Like what is happening here? So
yeah. And then what do they do when Christian Benford comes back? Because I think this is his third game, I believe, that he's missed since going on IR. He was playing fantastic. I feel like he was playing slightly better than Dane Jackson. They both did a good job, but it's just a good position. It's a good position to be in, I think.
For sure.
We'll see. We'll see. My best guess is Dane Jackson getting the start today, until further notice.
Yeah, and both rookies were playing really good football at the beginning of the year. I mean, way above expectations. You're talking about a 6th-round rookie, and then Kyer Elam, who a lot of people were critical of just because he's pretty aggressive at the line and he gets a lot of those more aggressive penalties like the PI penalties. But I hope both of them, obviously when Christian Benford returns, I hope both of them show up and prove a lot of those doubters wrong.
Yeah. So my key matchups might be similar to yours. See, I've already we talk about so many things. I already forgot what you said yours were.
I'm
So
sorry.
if I repeat some of yours, forgive me. But one of the things that I need them to do, Melvin Ingram has been a thorn in our side. Goes all the way back to last year in the opening game against the Steelers, right? He's playing for the Steelers. I think he got a strip sack in that game or whatever. He made a sack on Josh, and he's just always been an impact player. Then later the same year, last year, he's dropped by, I don't know if he was dropped, traded, released, whatever. He ends up on Kansas City's team. And in Kansas City's game, he makes some big plays as well in that 13-second game. Then, what the hell? Miami picks him up. Now, we talked about him in the offseason, Jake and I, when we were talking about who these free agents. And I was like, let's bring Melvin. I'm tired of him making plays against us. So he comes over to the Dolphins, and I'll be damned, he makes some big plays in that first game again. So my key matchup is do something to guard this man. Keep him off of Josh. He's a very good pass rusher. He's always been a great pass rusher in his career. He's had a lot of health issues, but lately he's been staying healthy. And he's a difference maker. So keep an eye on him. We got to do something to keep him away from Josh. There's a lot of key matchups, man. The other key matchup, of course, is that offensive line. Now, when you look at PFF, if you didn't know the Bills were 10-3, and I don't know how many of you subscribe to PFF or you look at them or how legit you think they are, but they're a tool. We always use them, right? They're a tool, and they give you something to look at. If you were to look at PFF, our offensive line is horrible. It's actually horrible. The only guy who's actually good, which you would expect, is our All-Pro, Deion Dawkins. He actually has a 70 rating on PFF. Rest of the guys, Saffold 47, Brown 47. Now, Brown is playing like a rating of 47. There's no surprise there. They got Van Roten starting at guard. That's who they think is going to start. I'm not saying he is at guard today. We never know with the Bills. And Van Roten's like a 52. So that's going to be a key matchup. That defensive line for the Dolphins is damn good. We've been playing a lot of good defensive lines, and we seem to keep them intact somehow. A lot of that is how, Dorsey scripts out the plays. Also gets, Josh, again, he always can make something happen. He sees a guy having a tough day. He's like, all right, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to extend the play. And Josh rolls to the right. Look out. Big things happen for us. So that offensive line as well. And then the other key matchup is Diggs. We talked about, and there's even a video we put out, why are we not feeding Stephon Diggs? You said it in our postgame show last week. The man should have at least 10 targets a game. We targeted him 5 times last week. This guy in the snow and the route running that he can do. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that route running because he might be slipping all over the place.
Yeah.
But he should have an advantage. Let's get him the ball. He's also the most sure-handed receiver that we have. And that other guy, if Cole Beasley's in there, he's that other sure-handed guy. Again, he might be a little rusty. And we haven't confirmed yet whether Cole's been activated or that he's been elevated from the practice squad because he was signed originally to the practice squad. So those are my key matchups. Before we move on to the bold predictions, anything you want to add, Jake?
No, I love what you're saying there, Mike. I think those are absolutely glaring matchups to me. We saw what Melvin Ingram did in that first game against us. He's got 6 sacks this year. I don't think he played last week against the Chargers. Did he? Did he actually go out with an injury? I don't know if he's banged up or what the deal is with him.
I did not know.
Okay. Yeah, because, nonetheless, they have some dogs up front in Bradley Chubb, and then they still have a couple other guys as well. Zach Sealer's playing extremely well, and Christian Wilkins, of course, one of the best defensive tackles in football. So, yeah, that defensive line is certainly nothing to be reckoned with. And with the way our offensive line has been playing, it's not an easy matchup. I really hope that our guys pull it together today and figure it out because they got their hands full for sure.
Yep, totally agree there. Let's move on to, I'm looking at of course, this is PFF. I'm just going to give you their defensive line. They got Ingram on the edge.
Okay.
He's rated 72.5. They got Wilkins, 83.4. They got Jalen Phillips, right? Their young guy, right? Who is, he had a good game against us in that first game. He almost had a huge interception. He's 86.7. They rate him. This guy, I haven't watched a lot of the Dolphins games, but that's surprising to me. I know he was, was a rookie last year. He was, and He was actually taken slightly ahead of Rousseau. He may not
They
have
were
had.
teammates. They
Yeah,
were teammates in
well,
college.
were they? Because I feel Russo stayed out of his final year,
He
and that's
did,
where
yeah.
Phillips came over, right?
Right.
So I don't know if they were teammates because I think Phillips came over from another team in college.
He was at UCLA and he
Yeah,
transferred. Yep.
yeah. But he had a
And
fantastic
actually,
year.
did you see the terrible pass interference call last week against him?
No,
Where he just, I mean, it was like a textbook sack. Didn't do anything wrong, but they felt like he put his full body weight on Justin Herbert's. They flagged him for a horrendous roughing the passer call. I just, I did not agree with that whatsoever. But yeah, he got flagged for a terrible one last week. I felt bad for him. But yeah, he's been great this year. He really has been. The development's been impressive.
now they also have Bradley Chubb, who I think was picked up in a trade, right?
That's correct. Yep,
All
from
right.
Denver.
So what's your thoughts on Bradley?
He hasn't been producing as much as a lot of people thought he would. He's been a little quiet. I mean, they gave away a first-round pick for him, and I think people in Miami, from what I've been hearing, have been somewhat disappointed with his play. So, I'm sure he's hungry. I'm sure he's ready to get out there, and he's still one of the better pass rushers in the league. So, absolutely. I mean, they are absolutely loaded.
Yep.
On their D line.
Yep. We didn't see him in the first game. He wasn't there. So again, they've added a piece, and they gave us a hard time last time. I know we put up big numbers last time, Jake. Right? You said it. We dominated the time, the clock control. We had the ball so much. I think it was 40 minutes to 20 minutes, something crazy like that. And but they played this bend but don't break. But it felt like we had to take what they were giving us, right? There's a lot of short stuff, working down the field. And their whole game is try to do that all game. You're going to make mistakes. And so it's crazy to me that we put up those big numbers against this defense, which is good, right? I could say that. We put up all those numbers, and this time we just need to finish the job.
And Devin Singletary had like 9 catches for 79 yards, if I'm correct. And he was basically operating as like our short yard guy. So that's why I think having Cole for this game would be huge, because we didn't have someone going across the middle making those short catches. It was just Devin Singletary out in the flats.
Yeah, Uncle Jesus said Mike almost schooled Jake. I don't know what you're referring to, but I'll never school Jake. This man knows.
Come on. You have with some trivia, with that 80s trivia. For whatever reason, I can't seem to figure it out.
90s trivia. We're going to hit
Look
you
at
with
this.
some 90s
The Colts
trivia.
Colts and Vikings, 30-0.
That is insane.
Wow.
Insane. All right, let's move on to our predictions, score predictions. Everyone in the channel, give us your score predictions for the game and throw out some bold predictions. Something crazy that you expect to see. We already had one bold prediction, right? Josh Allen runs for 2 touchdowns. I didn't see any other in the channel. Maybe I missed one, but bring it on. Throw it out in the channel. And Jake, let me throw it to you for your score prediction and your bold predictions.
Boy, we haven't dropped 30 points in a win since the Titans game, I want to say. 30 or more points.
Are you serious?
I think that's right, in a win, because we dropped 30 against the Vikings. But yeah, I think, you look back at every other game, it's been under 30 points. And we talked about that, snow game in the divisional round from 31 years ago, Mike. And I think we're going to make the Bills a little bit lucky today. So I'm thinking today we are going to get a win scoring 30-plus points, and the Bills are going to pull this off, and we're going to right a lot of wrongs. Cole Beasley's going to be a major factor. I love that. Chris Tebow coming in hot saying Matt Milano's going to get a second pick today. I love that. That's a great bold prediction. I'm going to say 31-16 Bills. It's going to be a 2-score game. I think it's – and I feel like I've said this like the last 5 weeks. It's close going into the fourth quarter, but that's where we put the nail in the coffin. Winning that close game, it's going to be, in my opinion, I think it'll be like 24-16 heading into the fourth, and like midway through it, we're going to go down and score a game-clinching touchdown, and then we're also going to clinch a playoff berth. It's going to be amazing.
Let's go. We got Timmy coming in at 21-17.
Of course. Yeah, Timmy always goes conservative. He doesn't want to curse anything.
Absolutely.
He wants to keep it. I understand it. Listen, I've had to eat crow a few times this year, but there's a feeling in the air right now. I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I think you look at the score, 31-16, maybe you're feeling like, hey, that's more than almost double what the Dolphins score, but I don't think it's going to be that way at all. The Dolphins are coming to play, so it's not going to be an easy win. My dad, there it is.
There it is.
Par for the course right there.
Oh, my
34-10 Bills. Love it. I would love to see it.
I don't think
know.
Big L ever starts his Bills prediction without a 3 to start that number.
That is correct.
Did you give some bold predictions for other things besides the score?
Yeah, so bold predictions, I'm going to agree with my father-in-law saying Josh Allen rushes for 2 touchdowns. I'm going to give a stat line for Cole Beasley, an exact stat line. This is, of course, if he plays. 8 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. And I know that receiving yard average is so freaking low, and it's probably not what you want to see. But I think 4 of those catches are going to come on crucial 3rd and shorts.
All right.
And then we'll say Matt Milano gets a pick 6. How's that?
All right. Okay, for me, I'm with Timmy. I mean, the Bills haven't proven to me that they can drop 30 points. And in this game, I would wish they kind of revert back to that 91 game where the Bills dropped 44. I would love to see that. And they have the potential, absolutely have the potential. But I'm going to keep it close as well. 24-20, the Bills get the win. Close game. There's nothing that these are 2 good teams. The Dolphins are fighting for their lives right now. They are 2 games back, and I don't even know, they're still a playoff team. If the season were to end today, I think they're in one of the 7s, one of the seeds there, right? But if they lose today, I think they're on the outside looking in and are going to need help. If they win today, not only do they get back into the AFC East contention, they're in a good position for a playoff spot. So this is a huge game for them. So it's 24-20. Of course, my heart wishes that it would be a score similar to what Jake's predicting or Big Al, but I haven't seen that lately, and my heart's been getting a lot of overtime. It's been working hard these last few games. So 24-20. Bold predictions, I don't know. I'm going to keep saying it. One day I'll get it right. Taron Johnson gets a pick 6. It's going to happen. I just got to keep saying it, and it will. I also think Stephon Diggs gets 8 receptions, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this game. He's going to go and kind of rival what James Lofton did in that 91 game. Lofton had 7 catches for well over 100 and had a touchdown, or he might even do what Reed did. But he gets over 100 yards receiving, and he's got 2 touchdowns in this winter game. Let's see here. Any other bold predictions? We didn't talk about the running. Well, we talked about Josh Allen. But do you feel the Bills... What do you think we're going to do on the ground, I guess is what I'm saying, trying to get out. What do you think that running game looks like today besides Josh?
I think coming off of last week where it was non-existent, but at times efficient, I think it's going to be a day where we try to stick with something and continue going with it when it works. I hope Ken Dorsey is starting to learn that a little bit more. I feel like for whatever reason, we get this momentum and then we kind of get away from what we were doing that was actually working. So I'm hoping today, I feel pretty good about this. I think both backs are going to have a 50-plus yard rushing day. That's how I'm feeling about it, Mike. I don't know about you.
I'm good with that. It was crazy to me that they didn't play more James Cook last week after he had just come off a really good game. Right. So again, it's confusing. I don't know what they're doing. But you and I have a bet. So as long as Cook isn't getting many more yards over Singletary, I'm good with that prediction for sure.
Yep.
But I do think from a running game in this type of weather, oh my goodness, with their front line, I think they're going to be able to stop the run. So I think 50 yards is reasonable. I don't think they both have 50. I think one gets 60 and one gets maybe 20 or something like that. We'll see. I don't think there's going to be a lot of running other than Josh Allen for his 2 touchdowns. We got Tom coming in saying 21-17 Bills, 5-2. He's predicting the Sabre game as well.
I love it.
Love that as well. And then I do like this one here. Dolphins will have more total yards than the Bills. Bills still win. So kind of a reverse, I guess, from last game, right?
Yeah, actually it would be for sure. Yeah, and I kind of mentioned that, right? So we play their game, the bend don't break, keep everything in front of us. So I can see that happening, Timmy. I don't think that's a bad prediction at all.
So tell me, Jake, I mean, we used to do this in our key matchups, keep forgetting to ask, how do you think, let's talk about the path to victory for the Dolphins. And they're coming into the snow. They're not used to the snow. They're used to that hot and humid weather they got in Miami. They're coming to Buffalo, cold, 30 degrees, snow on the ground, possibly more so, not possibly, there's going to be snow on that ground. What do you think they got to do? How do they win this game?
get us in space. Basically, get us in space and allow their playmakers to make plays. And I think Mike McDaniel has done a tremendous job this year of helping Tua, with his system, giving him these weapons around him, being able to draw up these plays, these even some trick plays that really exploit a defense. I think speed absolutely kills. You can't coach speed. The Dolphins have that. And, call it cliche or whatever, but it's really a matter of us being able to make tackles. But if you get these guys in open space, the weather's a little crappy, it's slippery out, it's not going to be an easy task. But I think for the Dolphins, they can absolutely exploit us in that sense, for sure. And then for the Bills, I really think it comes down to, I guess it would be playing a sound game of football in terms of not making mistakes, not turning the ball over, not letting them stay in the game and hang around, because we saw what happened the last time we played the Dolphins. This is a poor weather game, if you will. And my brother's saying, Jake, have you ever predicted a Bills loss? No, I haven't. I will never do that. I can't do that. I cannot bring myself to do that. I'm giving the other teams credit. Listen, I love the NFL as a whole. I love NFL football. I'm never going to talk poorly about another NFL player. I might say, hey, he didn't have as great of a game as he should have. But listen, there's a reason why those guys are out on the field, and I'm here talking about it. But at the end of the day, I will always predict a Bills victory as well. So where was I going with that, Mike? I think I was just saying basically the Bills need to play a sound game of football, because although last week they didn't turn the ball over, which was incredible, I think there were still some moments where, you can't go 4 and out 4 straight times. I think that's, you got to put points on the board. You got to be able to take a lead and continue holding on to that lead and not let this other team hang around.
Yeah, I don't know who said it. One of the shows, again, I watch a lot of shows, but they said the Bills have had a lot of third and hopes, right? A lot of third and hopes, like Josh Allen, the hope in Josh Allen can make something happen, meaning that we haven't done enough on first and second down. So I agree with everything you said there, Jake. I also think the turnover, who wins the turnover battle? There are going to be turnovers in this game. I have no doubt. I already said Darren Johnson pick 6. Somebody's going to fumble the ball. It happens in this weather, especially in this weather. So if we can win the turnover game, that's going to be key to this. It's going to be very difficult in a game like this to win a game if you don't win the turnover battle. I do want to say, Blake, I want to say Jake did predict a loss once, maybe last year, but if he didn't, I will say this. He predicted 3 losses when we did our schedule prediction show. That's true. Right? He said we'd be 14-3. So far, we're looking good. Both of us had us at 14-3. We're 10-3. So he did predict 3 of the losses. Do you remember who those losses were?
Yes, Jake, the Ravens, the Packers. So both of those were wrong. And then the Bengals. So I'm over 2 so far.
We got to have you over 3 because we cannot lose that Bengal game.
I know.
To keep this top seed, we have to win out. I truly believe it.
Right.
So Blake's telling me, Dan Orlovsky said that. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of third and hopes. Thanks for Blake's at his new house. We said that right. He's at his new house.
Yeah, he's at his new house. We were up playing video games last night till about 3 a.m., Mike. It was incredible. The baby was sleeping. My wife was sleeping. I was down on the computer. We're hanging out, a bunch of the guys, me, my brother, and it was a good time. So he got to be in his house all by himself too, because his fiance, she had to work early, so she actually carpools with her dad because they work at the same hospital, which is kind of cool. So, yeah.
When are we going to get Blake on the channel, man?
I think the holiday special, we got to bring him on. He's got this sweet new projector too that goes on the ceiling. He kind of showed that off. Pretty cool. Lakers has a lot of football knowledge as well. I mean, he knows his stuff. Your
friend, is it Ian? Ian, is he confirmed for the show?
He's confirmed. Yes, he's confirmed. Right. I don't know if he's going to do a live performance. He may pre-record it.
Okay.
So that's still up in the air, but he is definitely going to be joining the show, and we're going to be doing a Sporkle quiz. I think Blakers, that would be fun for you to join us as well for that, and it's going to be a little bit of a Bills type thing with that. So it'll be good.
Yeah. Jake and Ian and maybe even you, Blake, will do that. And again, we're going to bring somebody. I'm going to hope that we get someone who's a little brave. They don't have to show themselves on camera, but at least come on, and we'll do the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and they'll have a chance to win a prize. We will give away a prize, and we're known for doing that. And then we also have that ugly sweater contest. Make sure You take a picture with your best ugly sweater or creative sweater that you have, send it to the NickelCityMafia@gmail.com, and we'll be judging who's the winner that night. And that winner will get a prize as well. So a lot of fun there. Let's get into it. Trivia, baby. Trivia. I didn't know
Let's
where.
go.
I would love to hear the channels. I mean, I thought maybe we do this early. We did the tailgate food, but I thought, let's leave it to the end. We could change this around at any time. But going forward, we've done trivia in the past, and we always try to stump our guy over here, Mr. Podger. And going forward, I thought it'd be fun. Whatever team we're playing, we'll have trivia, both about the team we're playing, in this case, the Dolphins, and some Bills trivia. Now, I know Jake struggles anything before 1990-ish. Like, he's not, I mean, he's fantastic, don't get me wrong. And if there's a gentleman that was born in 1993 and knows more information about the Bills prior to 93, Jake's your guy. But we're going to try to stump him today and give him some easy ones. I expect this to be some easy ones here for him. I'm really putting the pressure on. I can tell he's starting to stress a little bit.
Hold on, let me just take one more of these here.
Now, what I would like you to do too, Jake, is over there on the right, go to the private comments so you cannot see any of the comments in the channel.
You got it.
Also, for folks that are still around with us, if you haven't already liked or commented on our channel, please do so and hit that subscribe button. Drop a nickel on it, as we always say. So let's get into it. This is going to be easy. Okay, anyone in this channel should know this, but we're going to get it a little deeper. In what year was the Miami Dolphins' perfect season?
1972.
All right.
Excuse me. Sorry. Tom, again, great recipe, man. So damn good. So damn good. Please send your tailgate recipes because I like doing it.
In week 5, Bob Greasy broke his ankle in that perfect season. Who was the backup quarterback that came in and won 9 regular season games? Greasy came back in the playoffs and was able to get them that Super Bowl win. Who was that backup quarterback?
He played with the Colts in '68 too.
You're onto him.
My gosh. Yeah, he was the Colts quarterback in '68. He wore number 5, Earl Morrall.
Oh my God, dude, I am so impressed with that one. Earl Morrall. Let me tell you something about Earl Morrall. He was cut, released by the Colts. And this guy, he's been around a couple teams. He had played with some of the great quarterbacks. He was a backup for Fran Tarkenton. He was the backup for Johnny Unitas.
Yeah, I mean, Hall of Fame quarterback.
Come on, right?
Yeah.
But he played in that Super Bowl loss to the Jets, I believe it was. I think
That's
he was
correct.
kind of right. And so the Colts waived him. Now get this. He was picked up off waivers for $100. Picked up waivers for $100. He was 38 years old at that time. Yeah. And the team was laughing. They actually had a rocking chair in the locker room. He was 38, and I was listening to some guy. He said he was 38 and he looked 58. He was almost, Don Shula was pretty young at that time. And he actually looked older than Shula. And he was I think he was right around close to the same age as Shula at that time.
That's hilarious.
But $100 to get him. And yeah, he went on 9, 5-0 to start. He ran the board with 9 wins. He got replaced by Greasy in the AFC Championship. And then I was watching something Don Shula saying he had to make a decision who was going to play that Super Bowl. And he gave the edge to Greasy. So interesting story there. I'm super impressed with that one. Yeah. And let's go to now, again, one more on that perfect season. We'll move on to some other things. A lot of people always know the perfect season was in 72, right? We know they ran the board. They won the Super Bowl. Who the heck did they beat in the Super Bowl?
That was the Washington R-words. The Redskins.
All right. I thought for sure I would get you there.
It was like a 14-3 game. I think Jake Scott was the MVP of that.
It was 14-7, I think it was.
Yeah, it was 14-7. You're right.
14-7.
14-7. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And
Jake Scott, was it Jake Scott? He was the Super Bowl MVP, the safety.
I do not know.
Rest in peace to Jake Scott, by the way. He was great.
But you hear about that 72 season, like I heard it. I knew everything. I did not know about Earl Morrall, so I researched it a little bit. But you never hear like who they beat in the Super Bowl. I'm like, who was the team they beat? So I thought I might get you there. Great job. You're 3 for 3. This is impressive. So anyone who has any doubt about getting on our trivia show for this upcoming holiday special show, Jake is a phone a friend guy. So you can ask him. He will help you out. And then we got God of Gaming. I'm from New England, but it's Fins up. Let's go. Get this Tyreek Hill 150 yards today. All right, God of Gaming.
Interesting. From New England, but a Fins fan. And I'll tell you what, back in the day, Jake Scott. Yeah, Jake Scott was great. Jalen Scott. No, I'm thinking of Jalen Tolliver. Never mind. What was I going to say? Back when Tom Brady was playing with New England, it was always interesting. They, for whatever reason, the Dolphins always had his number in Miami. You know, it was the weirdest thing. Every year they'd go down to Miami, and for whatever reason, they just couldn't figure it out. He'd always seem to have a tough game against them. So, kind of interesting.
Nick Bonacani. Good to see you, God of Gaming.
Yeah, he was great.
Appreciate other fans coming in, and I'm curious, why would he be cheering for the Fins? He's a Fin fan. I'm sorry. I was thinking he was a Patriot fan. He's a Fin fan. All right.
From New England.
From New England. Interesting. Yeah. Love to hear that story, God of Gaming. What, growing up in New England, why was it the Fins? What's the backstory there? Love to hear that.
There's always one in the family, right?
Oh, I know. I have a son.
That's right.
I know. I've been trying to sway him for a couple of years now. All right, let's continue on. Oh, he said, Dan Marino stole my heart as a kid. I'm 36.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that is.
I got a question for you, Mike. What was the original, not original, but what was the passing yardage record set in 1984 by Dan Marino that lasted up until Drew Brees broke it, and then Peyton Manning then broke his?
You mean total yards for that season?
Total passing yards, yeah. Do you know what it was?
Jeez.
It lasted until like 2011-ish, I want to say.
I'm going to say it was right around 5,000, maybe slightly under.
5,084.
Okay.
Back in 1984. This is when passing offenses were not what they are now. You know what I mean? Like totally different era. I mean, it was a running game back then. Of course, you had the Mark brothers, Mark Clayton, Mark Duper. But my gosh, I mean, he put up some insane numbers looking at his statistics. That was a guy, he was, like I said earlier, he was one of the purest passers in NFL history. And the numbers he put up were insane. Obviously, never got a Super Bowl ring, but definitely one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history.
All right, let's move on with some trivia, and next time give the folks a little bit of an opportunity.
Okay, I'll give them a chance.
I don't want you Googling out there. Don't Google the answer.
I'm on the private chat too, so I can't see what anyone's saying.
I don't know. Where's your phone, man? Where's your phone?
Phone here, ready? Watch this.
Jake is 3 for 3. I feel the next 3 might be pretty easy for you. We'll see. This is what I came up with.
Okay.
In 1980, the Miami Dolphins came to Rich Stadium, and they had beat us 20 straight games. Can you imagine, Jake, losing to a team 20 straight times? And the Bills got the win that day, and I was there. I was there with my grandfather, and I got to see, we just watched. We watched the fans go on the field and tear down the goalpost. It was incredible. But, Jake, who were the starting quarterbacks in that game?
1980. Wow. $1980. Okay. Joe Ferguson. No. Let me think about this here. Wait a minute.
Anyone in the channel know those starting quarterbacks in that 1980 game?
For the Dolphins.
Dolphins come to Buffalo. Bills break that 20-game losing streak. So who were the starting quarterbacks? Retired.
I think Bob Greasy was done at this point. He wasn't playing. Golly, this is brutal. Mike, the 80s trivia always trips me up a little bit here.
Had to go 80s a little bit with you.
Yeah, I know.
Now I know. I'm going to focus on the trivia next week. Yes. Got to go 80s. He seems to know the 90s a little too well. God of Gaming says no clue without cheating.
60s and 70s, for whatever reason, just come to mind very easily for me. But 1980 onwards, I don't get it. I don't know why I always have so much trouble with this.
Oh,
Uh,
let's see. Hold on there. I got to see. While you're thinking about it, I see a God of Game, and he says, nothing like walking to a Pat's family house for the holiday. Dude, I couldn't even imagine.
he was
I
probably
can't even.
ridiculed for so many years. I mean, and honestly, you're probably the butt of a lot of their jokes. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
they're probably like, should we
props to
invite?
you.
I don't know your actual name, but I'm going to say your God of Game. And the family's like, do we need to invite God of Gaming this year? I mean, let's take him off the invite list.
That's hilarious. I love that.
All right, so I don't know, Blake. Is that his starting quarterback there? Is that? I'm not going to throw this up there yet until Jake gives us his best guess.
Who's the quarterback? He was also a coach. He's a Hall of Famer. Coach with the Raiders. My gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. He was a quarterback. He played with the Bills. He wore number 16. I don't think it was 1980 though that he played. I think it was earlier than that. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach.
I don't know. Hall of Fame coach who was a
2021.
coach for who? For
He
the
was a
Raiders?
coach for the Raiders. Yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. But he played with the Bills. He was a quarterback for us. I think it was earlier on though, 60s, 70s maybe.
Let's see here. Let's see. You said he was quarterback, or no? He was
Yeah.
coach.
He was a quarterback, but he became a coach. He was the head coach for the Raiders.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think he played way earlier. It was the 60s and 70s, I believe. So forget that.
Was that-
it is.
What do you think?
What, no,
I
what were
was,
you
just,
going
I
to
was just going to say. I'm just trying to confirm. Blake, is that your dad's answer that you threw out there?
say? My dad probably knows it too.
If that's his answer, it's no. He does not.
Wow. And I got to get the Dolphins quarterback too, right? Or
You
you're
gotta
just
get
saying the
both.
Bills?
You got to get both of them. Man.
Wow. Look at this. We got 16 viewers right now. Pressure is on. Guys, by the way, I got 3 right before this, so don't claim.
Yes, he's 3-0.
Don't say this is
What's
a bad
funny
look
is-
for me if you're just joining.
What's funny is he got 3 of the Dolphins trivia correct. I'm starting to wonder about this man. Now I throw it to the Bills trivia, and he's struggling. Oh my
Joe
goodness! There's
Ferguson, I'm
something
going to
going on.
say, I got to say Joe Ferguson is one of my answers.
I'm gonna wait till you say both.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I don't think it's actually him though. I think it's someone else. Was Frank Lewis? Frank Lewis was on that team though, right? He was a receiver for us then. I believe he was.
On whose team?
On the Bills. Frank Lewis.
I do not know.
I can at least give you that.
Frank Lewis.
He was good. He was a good receiver back in the day for us. God, this is really putting my mind to work. Now remember, I got CT.
So the folks in the channel, Jake cannot see your chat right now. He had. To
Has anyone gotten it?
Yes, we have.
Really?
Wait. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So many names. It was the 1980 season too.
1980 season. We had Joe Cribbs at running back.
Joe Cribbs, he was good. Yeah.
I want to say we had the Butler as well.
Jerry Butler, yeah. No, was it 81 was his rookie year?
Yeah, you might be right. Let me check.
81 was his rookie year, I think. Yeah. Boy, why am I drawing?
I should tell jokes in between while we're waiting here. Do you want to phone a friend?
You're loving this, Mike.
Dude,
You are
I love it.
absolutely loving this.
This is going to eat you alive. Do you want to
I know
phone a
it
friend? We can
Bob
have you
Greasy,
phone.
Bob Greasy wasn't the quarterback though for the Dolphins in 80, was he?
You're asking me to tell you facts?
No. I'm just. Why am I second guessing myself? He played from 68 to maybe 65.
Don Strzok was on that team.
Yeah, that's a great name. I think he played to 81 though. I have a feeling Bob Greasy did play to 81. Was it Bob Greasy and Joe Ferguson?
Ding, 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 ding.
Those are my final answers.
Is
that right?
You got it.
Why was I second guessing myself? I thought that was too obvious.
First of all, I don't know how you didn't know Joe Ferguson.
I knew that, but I was just trying to put the timeline.
I talk Joe Ferguson all the time. He was my man.
He was amazing.
When I started, well, he was okay as a quarterback, but when I started following the Bills at age 7, Joe Ferguson was the man, and he played in this game.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, he threw 5 interceptions.
Jeez.
5 interceptions, and we still won that game. And then
Wow.
Greasy threw 2, and Greasy was relieved. I don't know if he got injured. Can't quite remember it. I have to look back. He was relieved by Strock. Strock came in. So I think back, and I'm like, damn, I got to see Greasy.
That was a name that I thought he maybe started, so I was a little fuzzy there. I didn't
Well,
know.
I was trying to throw you off with that. That second name is right there.
Well, I shouldn't second guess myself because I knew it all along.
Yeah. So he goes, let's see, we got some folks out there. Blake said, yeah, Joe Ferguson, Jake, go with your gut. Of course, you couldn't see that. Dolphins, I would have never have guessed. Bob Greasy was the guy still there. Chris Tebow had it right off the bat pretty much. Got a game and says, no clue without cheating. And then Chris says, my wife, the Dolphins my wife knew the Dolphins quarterback, but we don't know the Bills either. Joe
So what
Ferguson.
years did Bob Greasy play from the Dolphins? 68 to 81, was it?
You'd have to go.
For whatever reason, I was
don't
thinking
know off the top of my head.
79. But yeah, no, that hey, that's great. All right, I'm happy that I knew it deep down.
You got it. You got it.
That's like when we did the Pete Metzler's question. Remember that one? I was
Yep,
stumped on that one. It took me about 5 minutes, and I'm like, why didn't I just say this to begin with? You know, and I almost said it, but I didn't. You know, terrible.
All right, we got 2 more for you. Hang around, 2 more.
All right.
And this is just a sample. This is going to be kind of like
Great.
Friday on the 23rd. We're going to have some trivia. We're going to hopefully bring someone on. It's kind of be like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style. We'll ask simple questions first, and then we'll work our way up. And if you're able to get through, there'll be 5 of them. If you're able to get through all 5 of them, you will win a prize. And if you don't, we'll try to bring someone else on and get them to be who wants, the winner. So it should be a lot of fun. Of course, Jake's going to do Sporkle, I think it is.
Yes.
And maybe tell the folks what that is before I get into the last 2 questions.
Yeah, so Sporkle is basically a, and it's not just football, but it's like a quiz website where you have these, different timed quizzes where you have to fill out the names before the time runs out, essentially. So a lot of people don't get 100% on a lot of these. But for football, it's fun. So there's one for the Bills that I just saw, and I want to save it for the show. I think it'd be a great time. So it's like the top 10 statistical leaders in each category for like passing yards, rushing yards. And this is across the entirety of the franchise. So from 1960, I think, until 2021. So it doesn't include this season. So like guys like Josh Allen, they'll be on that list. You know what I mean? So I am pretty excited to do that one. It's like tackles, sacks, interceptions, passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards. So I'm really, really pumped for that one. That'll be a good time.
And don't worry, folks. On the 23rd, I know there's only a few of us that are of a certain age that remember back in the 90s and the 80s. Some of these trivia questions are going to be more current. So don't fear. If the folks are like, oh, damn, he's going to be hitting me up with 80s and 90s, I don't stand a chance. No, there'll be more current ones. And again, you'll have the option to phone a friend, which will be Mr. Podger. And the channel will be able to help you out as well. Because remember, if you remember on the, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they'd always could ask the crowd, the audience. So you'll have that option as well. 5 questions. You get all 5 right, you will win a prize here on Nickel City Mafia. All right, here we go. Our last 2 trivia questions of the day. I think you're going to get this, but it's just good stuff to know. Jim Kelly and Dan Marino faced off in the regular season 18 times. 18 times, Jake. Those 2 great quarterbacks met up. Who got the best of those matchups?
I'm pretty sure it was Jim.
Are you positive it's Jim? You said pretty sure. Are you positive? I need a final answer.
I think it was like, you said 28 times, right?
No.
Or what? How many times?
18 times,
my
sir.
bad. 18. I think it's Jim. I'm going with Jim.
Final
Is
answer?
that wrong? Yeah,
Final
I'm going
answer?
Jim. I'm going Jim.
It is Jim Kelly. Of course.
Okay,
He
I
won
was gonna
11
say.
times. He was 11 and
Just going
7
back
in
thinking
the
about
regular
all
season.
Yeah. Going back and thinking of all the games. I don't remember the Dolphins coming on top very often. So
Yeah, that's. I mean, what an accomplishment by that team. Knowing how good Dan Marino was to beat him 11 out of 18 games in the regular season, amazing. All right, final question, final trivia question. Again, it's Kelly Marino. Why? Because they were amazing. They were fantastic. Kelly faced off against Dan Marino 3 times in the playoffs. How many of those games did Dan Marino win?
Well, we just went through one of them. So
I know. I gave you an easy one there.
None of them.
Is that
I don't
your
think
final?
any of them. That's my final answer.
Is
Yeah.
that your final answer? You got it. The answer
Yeah.
is
None
it.
of them.
Jim
Yeah.
Kelly beat Dan Marino in all 3 playoff games.
I love that. Hey, way to just rub some salt in the wound of those Dolphins fans out there. And listen, we want all the smoke. Bring all the fan bases in here. We love to chat football. We don't we don't like to be negative towards any team or anything like that. We'll give props where props are due. We try to be very objective with all this stuff. Of course, I'm never going to predict a Bills loss, but I'll tell you how damn good your other team is. So, yeah. So, anyways, yeah. All right, Mike. I like those.
Chris said he knew 2.5 questions. I love it. Good stuff. Again, don't be scared. I want one of you to think about it because I would love you guys. Hopefully, you're able to join us on Friday, the 23rd, again, 8 p.m. on the Eastern time. And hopefully one of you, it's super easy to join our channel. There's a little link. All you need is a browser. You could do it on your phone. You could do it on your iPad. You could do it on your computer. As long as that device has a microphone, we're good to go. I don't need to see you. If you want to come on
I got to look at the comments.
Look at the comments. You can go check it out, of course.
All right.
If you got a microphone on that device, you can join us. We'll actually ask you the questions. Now, it'd be better, Jake, let's make a call. I think we need to see them because we don't want them Googling, right? They don't want to Google the answers to our trivia questions. I think we're going to need to see that person live on camera.
We got to watch them physically put their phone to the side.
Yeah.
And have maybe we have, hands up the whole time. I don't know, Mike.
Well, I like that too. Because nowadays, like we do a lot of interviews with people, and it's remote because a lot of folks now are able to work remote, and so we watch that carefully. We watch because the guy's down here and he's really good and he's sly about typing.
You could really,
you could get a lot of your answers that way. So we'll make sure it's fair, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And again, it'll be some. I don't know. I probably won't go as old as this one unless Big Al comes on. I'm going to have a set of questions. Multiple sets of questions. If I see Big Al come on, I'm going to take him back in the day. If I see Uncle Jay come on, we're going back in the day to talk some trivia.
I love it. That's awesome. Hey, if you see me on, don't go 80s, please.
Don't go 80s. That's his weakness. we're gonna get some more 80s stuff. So good stuff.
I still think I'm pretty good there.
Oh, dude, you were 6 of 6. This is incredible. It took you a little while on that starting quarterback, and I thought I had you because you were like. Greasy retired. Nah, not Joe Ferguson. I mean, you really struggled, but then you pulled it together, man.
I love it. By the way, Joe Ferguson, I mean, he was our all-time leading passer till Jim Kelly came and took that over, and Josh is going to be, but not enough credit given to Joe. He was great, man.
Joe was my guy. Just imagine, Jake, I'm that kid out on the street. We're playing a lot of touch football in the streets when I was a kid. That was a big thing we did. And, you always pretend to be one of those Bills players. Joe Ferguson was that guy.
Yeah.
I'm Joe Ferguson. You'd call it out. I'm Ferguson today. And, remember, good times, good stuff.
I love it. And what number did he wear, Mike?
12, baby.
And that was taken over.
Jim Kelly took number 12 as well.
Yep.
So good stuff here. Let's wrap it up. Again, we have that, let me just bring it up one more time here. I want to make sure you're all aware and you can help us out with this. We are doing a fundraiser. And let's go back here, right here. Let me pull it up. We're doing a fundraiser. There's the QR code. If you take a minute and if you can donate anything, no amount is too small. Just put your camera over that and it'll actually take you to the webpage. And if you can't donate monetarily, we totally understand. It is the holiday season, but share that. Share that. The link is in the description of the video. Share that link with friends and family and in social media. So appreciate that. And then just remember, we've been talking about it. We got the holiday special next Friday. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff. Ugly sweater. Get your, where is he? God of Gaming? You can be in this, buddy. Get your ugly sweater picture sent to us. Our email is NickelCityMafia@gmail.com. For those that don't remember, it's in the description of the video as well. Our email is there. Email us your ugly sweater. And the winner will win a prize. Jake and I will be the judges. We will actually put those pictures, we'll put those pictures on our live show. So good stuff. We're going to have performers. We have people that have pre-recorded some songs, some Christmas songs, and we might have someone do a live one as well, live performance. So we'll see. Lots of fun, good stuff. Jake, let me throw it to you to wrap it up.
It's the best damn time of the year, Mike. We had bowl games start yesterday. We got NFL football on Saturdays. I mean, Christmas is a week out. Like, can't get much better than this. We got a night game at home, potentially some flurries in the sky, maybe 1.5 feet of snow. Who knows? Apparently, it's not snowing at the stadium right now. I have to go take a look
that's
outside.
what somebody said. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can't get it much better than this. It's just the best time of the year, and just remember to just be kind and love one another and love up on these Bills, because it's going to be a huge freaking day for us. I expect a nice victory, and I expect a good-hearted post-game show tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're going to go at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time with the post game tomorrow. Jake, I got a little dilemma tonight, actually. So we've had this party that we were invited to months ago. This is before they flexed the game. And all of a sudden, they flexed the game. Party starts at 5. And the game starts at 5:15 our time. Of course, it's 8:15.
Well, they'll have
the
TVs,
East time,
right?
I don't know. They're not much of a football fan. So I'm bringing my iPad. I am going to watch the game. My wife's like, "You seriously are going to watch the game and ignore everyone?" I said, "Honey,
yes.
my routine." I said, "They are lucky I'm even going to this game. I should have called them and said I'm not coming anymore. But I will have my iPad. I'm hoping to ask them to put it on the TV. I would think they would do that for us, but we'll see. I don't know. It's their party. They might have Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer playing on the TV. I don't know, but I'm going to be prepared." She was a little mad. She's like, "You're really not going to mingle?" I'll go, "I'll mingle in between quarters and at halftime." So that's my dilemma. But we don't ever get to parties on time. That's the other thing. I'm like, "What time's the party?"
Oh,
5 o'clock?
You're going to be
the
earliest one.
We'll be there right on time. So.
Yep. Sounds familiar, Mike. Sounds familiar. Yeah, I'm always that guy at Thanksgiving dinner, with my phone posted up too. So I'm very familiar with these territories that you're going to be crossing into tonight. So Good luck. I wish you well. I know you'll be able to watch the game, but hope you don't take too much credit for it.
No. And then Tom, off to the stadium. Go Bills. Please donate to Baby Jack.
Hell yeah, Tom. Have a good time out there.
Tom's got 2 seats. He's going to be giving us some nice images from the stadium. And again, he's the gentleman that's going to be handing out flyers and asking people to donate. And he has prizes. Jake, he has prizes he's going to give to people if they donate.
Unbelievable.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
All right, folks, everyone, go enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Watch the other games if you like. Do we have any updates real quick on the games that are going on?
33-0 Colts right now over the Vikings.
Wow.
Incredible. You never know. It's literally any given Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Monday. Crazy.
Oh, crazy. All right, everyone. Have a great time. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Go Bills.
Go Bills.